Idaho college student killings, new details on suspect charged with murder. A graduate pupil at Washington State University become arrested Friday in his domestic kingdom of Pennsylvania in closing month's killings of 4 University of Idaho college students of their off-campus domestic, a brutal assault that rattled a small university metropolis, government stated. A crook grievance charging Brian Koberger, 28, with 4 counts of homicide with inside the first diploma, in addition to legal burglary, become filed Thursday, Lada County Prosecutor Bill Thompson stated in an information convention Friday afternoon in Idaho. Authorities narrowed their cognizance to Koberger after tracing his possession of a white Hyundai Elantra visible with inside the location of the killings, in keeping with regulation enforcement reassets briefed at the research. Koberger's DNA has additionally been matched to genetic fabric recovered on the off-campus residence in which the scholars had been stabbed to death, in keeping with the reassets. Genetic family tree helped investigators pick out the suspect, a supply with information of the case stated. DNA determined in Idaho become taken through a public database to discover capability suits for own circle of relatives members, the supply stated. Once capability-owned circle of relatives suits had been determined, next investigative paintings via way of means of regulation enforcement brought about the identity of Koberger, in keeping with the supply. The suspect drove throughout U.S. with inside the white vehicle to his parents' residence, in keeping with some other regulation enforcement supply. Sometime proper earlier than Christmas we had been zeroing in on him being in or going to Pennsylvania. An FBI surveillance group from the Philadelphia area workplace were monitoring him for 4 days with inside the location in which he become arrested, in keeping with the reassets. While he become being watched, investigators from the Moscow Police Department, the Idaho State Police Murder Bureau, and the FBI labored with prosecutors to increase enough in all likelihood motive to achieve the warrant. Once the arrest warrant become issued, the Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI made the arrest. Moscow Police Department Chief James Fry stated on the information convention an Elantra has been located, however investigators are nonetheless searching out the knife used with inside the killings. He didn't screen any information about the case, which includes whilst the suspect have become the point of interest of the research or whether or not he knew the 4 college students who had been killed. These murders have shaken our network and no arrest will ever deliver again those younger college students, Fry stated. However, we do agree with justice might be determined through the crook process. Fry stated it become a totally complicated, big case. We advanced a clean image over time, he stated, however, be confident that the paintings isn't always done. This is simply started. Authorities on the information convention requested the general public to hold calling the end line with information. After the suspect returns to Idaho, a possible motive affidavit used to achieve the arrest warrant might be unsealed. Records display Koberger become arraigned Friday morning in Pennsylvania, and he has a courtroom docket listening to on extradition January 3. Thompson stated the suspect is being held without bail, and he's being represented even as in Pennsylvania via way of means of a public defender. Because the suspect become arrested in Pennsylvania, he has the possibility to waive extradition and go back to Idaho voluntarily. If he chooses now no longer to go back voluntarily, Moscow police will provoke extradition complaints through the governor's workplace, Fry stated. If we do that, it is able to take some time for him to get here, he stated. Fellow pupil says suspect research crook justice. According to an information launch from Washington State University, Koberger finished his first semester as a PhD pupil with inside the faculty's crook justice application and advanced this month. Elizabeth Chilton, Chancellor of the university's Pullman campus, stated the faculty's police branch assisted Idaho police officers with inside the execution of seek warrants at Koberger's workplace in his condominium. A CNN group in Pullman, that's simplest approximately 9 miles from the website online of the killings, noticed regulation enforcement hobby at an condominium complicated in which graduate college students live. We additionally need to increase our private sympathies to the households, friends, and vandal colleagues who had been impacted via way of means of those murders, Chilton stated. We will lengthy sense the loss of those younger humans with inside the Moscow Pullman network and desire the assertion these days might be a step in the direction of healing. In a publish eliminated from Reddit after Koberger's arrest become made public, a pupil investigator related to a DeSales University observer named Brian Koberger sought participation in a studies project to recognize how feelings and mental trends impact decision-making whilst committing a crime. In particular, this observer seeks to recognize the tail at the back of your maximum latest crook offense, with an emphasis in your mind and emotions during your experience, the publish stated. It is uncertain who wrote the questions for the survey. One of the important investigators of the Observe, a professor at DeSales University, in Pennsylvania, declined to touch upon the matter. Koberger graduated in 2020 with a bachelor's diploma, in keeping with a faculty spokesperson. In June 2022 Koberger finished his graduate research for the Master of Arts in Crook Justice application, the spokesperson stated. The suspect additionally graduated from Northampton Community College with an companion diploma in Arts and Psychology in 2018, a spokesman for the faculty in Pennsylvania stated. Moscow resident Erin Staheli have become emotional even as expressing her comfort on the information of the arrest. It's simply been very frightening now no longer understanding who's out there, Staheli stated, noting the worry which has permeated the metropolis of just about 26,000 citizens for weeks. I had doubts that the killer could be stuck due to the fact it's been so lengthy, you know. Staheli praised the paintings of the police businesses and FBI for the arrest. I knew that they could, however it's simply taking so lengthy, and I'm so satisfied for his or her households and in anyone that's been involved that everyone the scholars, anyone that might not have come again to faculty, she stated. The arrest comes an afternoon after police stated they have obtained approximately 20,000 suggestions through extra than 9.5 emails, 4,575 telecell smartphone calls, and 6,050 virtual media submissions, even as having performed over 300 interviews.